The unknowns, not knowing how many people are coming, we could exhaust our resources really quick.
We are counting down to the total eclipse now, less than a month away. Kendall County, the latest, issue a disaster declaration ahead of next month's total eclipse. At least 3 other counties in central Texas, along with the Hill Country, that are in the path of totality have already issued disaster declarations, include Bell County, Travis County, and Kirk County. While we are familiar with what a disaster declaration means for wildfire, maybe even severe weather, what do they mean when it comes to an eclipse? East San Antonio's Stephanie Esquivel is getting answers tonight from local officials.
Issuing a disaster declaration ahead of next month's eclipse is a proactive measure Kendall County officials are taking to ensure enough resources are available in case of emergency.
We're not going to be able to rely on our regular mutual aid partners because they're coming from counties that are experiencing the same issues we are. So it just gives us a little bit better avenue to reach out for the state for additional resources or supplies or things like that should we need them.
Emergency Management Coordinator for Kendall County, Jeff Banks, says he wants to be prepared for any emergency that could arise.
This is Feature Minded. So a lot of people have been sounding the alarm about this solar eclipse that's about to take place on April 8th. And I actually just did a video about this on my Feature Mind 2 channel where I go into some details that I've noticed. But in this video, we're going to cover some more details that I've come across since I released that last video. And so basically with this eclipse, we're seeing that it forms an X across America. When you put the path of this eclipse with the path of the last eclipse, it will mark an X across America. And so not only that, but the X in itself is a very interesting symbol in itself. Plus, when you look at the path of this solar eclipse that's about to take place, it actually crosses a lot of cities called Nineveh. Now, Nineveh is a biblical city. So people have said that Nineveh was a city in the Bible that was warned and they had to be destroyed or something like that. So I'm not real familiar with this story, but I think it actually even includes some biblical character by the name of Jonah. So that's another thing where this eclipse is going to cross a city called Jonah as well. And plus there's a city called Rapture and a city called the Ark. So when you put all this together, it just sounds kind of strange how all these cities just happen to be in the path of this eclipse. So that's definitely something to take note of. Plus, like I said, with the X that it forms, that's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, and you put that with the warnings that are being issued in certain states and the state of emergency where they're saying to prepare for, you know, power outages and unrest and all types of stuff like that. So also what I've picked up on is with that boating incident that just took place, that was pretty strange in itself, how that took down that bridge out in Baltimore. But then if you put that with that movie called Leave the World Behind, you'll notice how the beginning of that movie, everything kind of kicked off with a boat that was out of control. The boat, you know, was headed towards land and people just thought it was another day. They didn't think nothing of it until the boat just kept coming. And it ended up crashing onto land and people had to scatter and, you know, get away from it. So that's kind of interesting how that boat incident just took place. And, you know, maybe that might show us that that's kind of a clue. Maybe they're trying to show us something here, you know. Plus, with a lot of the movies that are coming out in April, they're kind of themed around the last days with the Civil War movie. And like I said in my last video, there's volcanic eruptions happening across Iceland and the North Pole area. So yeah, it's kind of an unusual time for this eclipse to be taking place. But I also said in my last video, I don't know if I really expect anything to happen. I mean, the only thing is, well, with the eclipse in general, over the course of history, people used to kind of do ritualistic stuff during the times of the eclipse. They thought it was a time to perform these rituals. So maybe there will be some type of ritualistic event that takes place during this eclipse. We'll have to see if anything makes the news or not. I'll definitely be, you know, paying attention and seeing if anything is reported to happen on that day, but I wouldn't get too concerned or alarmed. But you can't just ignore it either with the certain states that have issued warnings ahead of this eclipse. You know, you just can't ignore that stuff really. So, you know, like I said, it doesn't really hurt to be prepared, but you don't want to get too concerned either because, you know, you don't want to set dates and get all alarmed about stuff. Really, you don't want to live your life like that. Most people just want to live their life as normal, and we've seen a lot of eclipses happen, and this is a pretty unusual eclipse, I must admit, but I'm not too alarmed. But either way, I mean, you wouldn't want to rule out anything happening either. So we'll just have to wait and see if anything takes place during this eclipse or not. I would bet probably not, but you never know. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about any of this information we covered? And what do you make of that X forming across America? You think that means anything? Or what about the cities called Nineveh? And what about that boating incident and stuff like that? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like I said, I'm going to leave a link to my other video about the eclipse where I go into much more detail about other things that I've noticed about this eclipse. So yeah, check that out. I also leave links to my other channels, my social media, my Feature Mind store, my free email newsletters, and much more. If you would like to support this channel, please donate as little as $1 to help keep this channel online. I also have some giveaways and stuff like that in the comment section. So thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Feed Your Mind signing off.